practical matter, fire him. Durham doesn't appear to be in any big hurry. So when all of this will actually get into a courtroom, who knows? But what we have in the filings so far, I think, is enough to start generating a lot of attention and a lot of well-deserved sympathy for President Trump. 855-405-8255, the number. Hey, Governor Kardashian, his attempt now to claim to be some kind of anti-mask, anti-vax mandate conservative, is that going to fly? Well, we'll find out after the break. Heidi Ganahl, candidate for governor, state of Colorado, GOP side, will join us, give us her take. But as we play some of this tape with Heidi, I mean, think about it. The same governor you're going to hear yesterday at Fox News talking about how terrible it is for the government to insist that somebody wear a mask. He was the guy who was out there not too long ago calling you a selfish B word if you didn't wear a mask outside. Heidi Ganahl next on the Dan Caplis Show.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-522-4700.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? What if I'm talking?
It's happening, Denver. Yeah. The Garden and Home.
And I think the most important thing is that should be an individual decision. People should be empowered with the information they need to protect themselves. And the truth is, if you're at risk, and I use my parents as an example, they're 77 and my mom has some respiratory conditions. Yes, they do wear medical grade masks when they're out around others, but that should be an individual decision based on the science and the data.
That Governor Kardashian yesterday on Fox with Sandra Smith. Well, wait a second. Wasn't this also Governor Kardashian? Cut 3, please.
If you're somehow waiting to wear a mask till the governor tells you to, I hope you've heard that I'm telling you to. And if I haven't been clear, I'm telling you to wear a mask. Wear a damn mask. It is not just a public health issue, it's an economic issue. So for some reason you don't, care about saving lives. Maybe you care about money.
Wow. And just listen to the arrogance. Like he's speaking to a child who he really hates. I mean, think about that. And the same guy who called you a selfish B word if you wouldn't wear a mask outside is now Mr. Freedom. I'm sure the midterm's just a coincidence, right? Let's go to the VIP line. Welcome back, Heidi Ganahl, running for governor of the great state of Colorado. Upcoming op-ed, very timely. Heidi, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Dan, and happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you too. Wow, think Amy will like her present?
Sorry, Dan, it cut out for 2 seconds.
No, that's probably a good thing. I was about to ask you if Amy would like her present, but then I thought probably shouldn't go there. 855-405-8255, Heidi Ganahl, our guest. Yeah, you threw me with the Valentine's Day thing because, you get so into the show, you just forget what's going on in the rest of the world. But, yeah, now, hey, let me ask you, Valentine's Day, Governor Polis, can Colorado fall out of love by Election Day? Lord knows they have every reason to. He's cheated the people of Colorado in lots of different ways, including out of their freedom. He's cheated on the people of Colorado with Kim Kardashian, for example, letting her dictate whether a killer in Colorado goes free after 5 years. He's been so awful in so many ways, but Heidi, how do you penetrate this cocoon of protection he has from the press, from his money, so the people of Colorado can see the real Jared Polis?
Well, Dan, I feel pretty confident after traveling the state over the last year or two, or actually 5 at the region at CU. People are waking up. They sense what's going on. They recognize they're losing their Colorado way of life and their freedom. I mean, at the end of the day, the people of Colorado want to be trusted to make good decisions for their business, their life, their family, and they want us to follow the Constitution. And that's kind of the Colorado way of doing things around here. And it's just gone away since Polis has come into office, and he is the height of hypocrisy. He wants credit for ending the mask mandates that he put into place, or he wants credit for getting rid of taxes and fees that he just signed into law just a few months ago. He wants credit for having a crime plan when he's the one that made a lot of these decisions that are causing skyrocketing crime rates all over our Denver metro area and around rural Colorado as well. It's laughable.
Yeah, and it seems to me, Heidi, that the two big issues that have the best chance of penetrating, just the noise out there and cutting through this force field of money and media that he's created are crime and COVID. Because with crime, it doesn't matter how much money he spends on his campaign. I mean, how many hundreds of millions do they spend on new Coke, and how many people are drinking new Coke? I mean, crime, people feel it. If they haven't been a victim, they're feeling, the threat each day. They know they're in more danger. They know that sense of fear. And then on COVID, people lived the oppression. They lived the stripping away of freedom. Some of them, their kids are still being abused through these stupid, unnecessary masks. So how do you, and we have an op-ed coming up on crime, how do you ride those two mega failures to victory?
Well, Dan, first of all, crime is not just an election year problem that he can solve right before, he wants to be reelected. I've told you I'm a mom on a mission. I'm the daughter of a police officer. I want to make sure Colorado is a safe place to raise a family, and I was appalled to see his press conference held without the support of Colorado's three largest law enforcement groups. That was just not okay. Honestly, these law enforcement groups agree that his far-left policies have made crime worse in our state. They play offenders ahead of victims. And Polis likes to call his $113 million over 2 years of first steps. Well, baby steps won't keep us safe from homicide rates that surged to a 25-year high in 2020. So I challenge Polis. I challenge him to fire his parole board and his safety officer. If he doesn't, I'll do that on day one in office. And I challenge Polis to get his deadly fentanyl law off the books now. He signed that law into effect a couple of years ago about making possession of 4 grams of misdemeanor crime. Thousands of people are dying, and that law is still on the books.
Yeah, and you wonder if somebody was truly devoted to the public and protecting the public, wouldn't they just come out in his shoes and say, okay, this was a mistake on the fentanyl thing, and it was well-intentioned, but a mistake, and we're going to roll that back. It's a mistake to have all of this, easy bail, which essentially means people just sign a promise to pay if they don't show up. And that's why, as you know, we have so much crime being committed by repeat offenders who are out on bail, put that in quotes, on another charge at the time they reoffend. So if he truly cared, he would do that. And the fact that he's unwilling to do that, I think just speaks volumes. And hopefully you will be able to communicate that to the people, because that, I think, is the best chance of fully exposing him.
Yeah, I agree, Dan. And I believe people are getting very upset and anxious about what's happening in their neighborhoods. Most of us have the Nextdoor app on our phones, and it's pinging constantly with crime that's happening in rural Colorado and suburban Denver, all over the place. And it's happening to our kids and our seniors. I mean, something that we've talked about before on the show that doesn't get talked enough about in the media is we can't forget that his far-left friends in the assembly refused to investigate more than 1,000 COVID-related nursing home deaths that occurred on Polis' watch. So I challenge him, investigate the deaths. Be transparent. Tell us why that wasn't a horrible mistake, the backroom deal he did with donors to buy bad testing kits. He needs to be held accountable for a lot of these bad decisions that have done terrible things to our state. And if the mainstream media won't do it, then you and I can do it when we talk. And, the people of Colorado can talk to their neighbors, their friends, and remind them of the things that have happened on his watch.
Yeah, and my biggest hope in the end, Heidi, because obviously you speak very well to it, and some others have also, my biggest hope in the end is that people because unfortunately they have lived it. All these horrible things we're talking about, most people have now lived. My hope is that they will still remember that come election day, because it really is like nothing else we've experienced, right? I mean, we've had ups and downs in Colorado, but this double whammy of runaway crime combined with stripping away of freedoms unnecessarily during COVID, we haven't been through something like that before, and it's all on his watch.
Yeah, Dan, and I think that it's time for big, bold action. I mean, we have got to fix our kids' future. We've got to address the learning loss in schools, the high suicide rates. We've got to make it affordable again to live here so our kids can stay here and our grandkids can stay here. And, we've got to have a healthy respect for rural Colorado, too. All the things that have happened in the last few weeks with Ellen Kessler and the ranchers and farmers being treated so badly on Polis's watch, the meat out day, which I'm married to a barbecue cook. Meat's important in our house. It's just disrespectful and arrogant. And the people of Colorado want someone leading their state that actually cares about the people here in our state rather than his political future and potentially running for president someday.
Yeah, no, great point. And I think that's where I'll leave it, Heidi, because I'm also very hopeful that people will just sit back and imagine, hey, having a Governor Heidi Ganahl and just the different feel and the respect and just a different tone that would set for the state. So thank you, Heidi. Appreciate the time today and look forward to the next conversation.
Thanks, Dan. I look forward to it, too. And we've got to keep fighting for our Colorado way of life. And I'd love the help and support of your listeners, HeidiForGov.com. We are building a movement, and that's what it's going to take to go up against his millions of dollars. He spent $24 million of his own money last time. Yeah. So we've got to raise money. We've got to build a movement, and we've got to be happy warriors and have big, bold solutions for the people of Colorado.
Amen. Thank you, Heidi. You take care. And when we come back, Joe Biden's collapsing poll numbers in Colorado, what does it mean for all of the races? And Tina Peters entering the Secretary of State's race. What's the overall effect of that? You're on the Dan Caplis Show.
You may be into